Hi guys, it's Crystal. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to sublimate cheer bows. So let's go ahead and get started. So a few months ago, I reached out to Sawgrass and I asked them if they could make a cheer bow template. So I read your guys' comments. I've seen a lot of people requesting this. So I thought I would reach out and see if it was possible. And they said yes. So if you come to where the blank products are and just start typing out cheer, you guys are going to see 3 different templates for the cheer bow. You have one that is 3 by 24, 3 by 16, and 3 by 8. So I highly recommend that you guys use the 3 by 16. I think it's absolutely perfect for making the cheer bow. What you're going to do is click on it, and it's going to change that size for us to design right here. So what this is I'm breaking it into 2 panels. So you're going to have one side of the bow and the other side, and I actually do those about between 14 and 15 inches on each side. I like to leave 2 inches on the back side of my cheer bow, which we'll get into here in a little bit when we make the cheer bow. So I do around 14 inches, so I think the 16-inch mark is perfect. So this one right here is going to be perfect for those SG 1000s because you guys can do 11 by 17. Now, if you guys have the SG 500, I believe you guys can do 8.5 by 13, or you guys can use the bypass tray and do as long as you want, so you could do this as well if you guys have the bypass. Now, if you have the SG 1000, this is going to be perfect for you. So let's go ahead and start with our background layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to elements. I'm going to start typing out gradient. All right, so I just typed in grad and it's going to start to bring it up. So they have created several gradient colors for us. So for example, today I'm going to be using this red right here. So I'm just going to click on it, and then I'm going to come over here to scale, and I'm going to bring this up as big as it'll let me. And then it's going to get to a point where it stops. So I'm just going to grab this little piece here and drag it out. All right, just like that. I want you guys to stay tuned because I plan on showing you guys how to create tons of different designs. So just stay tuned for that. But right now I'm just going to give you guys the basics. If you want your gradient to go in this direction, you can leave it like so. Now, if you're wanting it to come off the side, which is what I'm actually going to do, what we want to do is rotate that. You can do that here, or you can do it here. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this thing just like so. And then I'm going to drag it over and then kind of get it about where I'm wanting to see that gradient line. Let's just say I was happy with something like this. Sawgrass has a ton of mascots. You can bring in your own, but let's go ahead and go back to elements, and we're going to come over to mascot. All right, they have a ton of cute ones, and you can definitely click on these and change the colors to specifically match exactly to your school. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and choose this one right here. Now, if it has this white background, all you have to do is come over here to clear white. And then I'm just going to click on the pieces that I want to get rid of. And then we're going to hit save. Now you're going to say, okay, well, how do I know exactly where to put this on the ribbon to get it perfectly where it needs to go on the bow? All right, so if you hit the grid, I have discovered this second line right here, usually between right around this second line or right around here is going to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come about center in between these 2 lines right here. I actually want to size that down. So I'm going to come over to scale. I'm going to get rid of this grid line. Now let's just say this is all that's going on the one side of the bow, right? What we're going to do is hit print. We're going to choose our printer. You're going to choose the paper. So for example, today I'm using the 11 by 17. So I'm going to use US tabloid. I'm going to have it mirrored. And I want to add a bleed line. I'm going to change this to polyester, and I'm using True Pix Classic, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to Vivid. So this is completely ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit print, and I'm going to hit OK. All right, so now it's popped up here, so we're going to go back in. Now for the second side, what I'm going to do is you can either save this, so maybe I want to save this so that way I know where to put my mascot each time, and I can just come in here, change the color, add a mascot. Or you can just simply delete this. And let's say that I'm going to add the name now. So I'm going to come over to text. I'm going to come to, now Creative Studio has a ton of font to choose from. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and use one that I've already uploaded. So I'm going to click that again and hit uploaded. And I'm going to use this font right here. So I'm actually going to type out Ashley. All right, just like that. And I want to size it up. I want to rotate it just a little bit. And I want to go ahead and add an outline color. So I'm going to hit outline color, and I'm going to make sure that's white. And then see where it says stroke, I'm going to bring that over until I'm happy, so you can go as big as you want to. So let's just say I'm happy with it about like that. I'm going to bring back in the grid line, and I know I want to stick somewhere about here. Now you want to test out, you want to print out, it may take you printing 1 or 2 pages to make sure you guys have it exactly where you want it, and you'll know time and time again where you exactly need to place these. So there you have it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of grid, and then let's go ahead and create some lines down here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is come to elements, I'm going to go to shapes, I'm going to bring in a square, just like this. Where it says lock aspect ratio, I want to click that. That way I can size this down how I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and make this about like so. Rotate it just a little bit. And then we're going to drag it down here. And then I can come up here and maybe make this a little bit bigger. But also, so you just kind of play around with it for a little bit. Go ahead and actually duplicate it, and I'm going to change this color, so I'm going to come to fill color and change it to white. All right, and I'm actually going to size this down just a little bit. So maybe something like this. So you're just going to play around with it until you exactly get the design that you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it one more time, and I'm going to rotate that, exit out of here. Come over here to rotate, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the size of this thing down just a little bit. Make sure you hit lock aspect ratio again, and then you're going to size it down. All right, something about like that. Now you can keep playing around with that until you're 100% happy with exactly however you want it. So let's just say I was ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit print, and then I'm going to choose my printer. Same thing, make sure I'm choosing the exact same settings that I did before. And I'm going to hit print. I'm going to hit OK. All right, so now you guys notice that it's going to pop up both of these. So what I want to do is actually go to layout. So you see where it says spacing, I went ahead and changed that to 0.4, and that's going to give you a nice little spacing in between. So this is going to allow them to both print out on the exact same page, so you're not wasting, and so 1 sheet per bow, it's going to be absolutely perfect. So at this point, you're going to go ahead and hit print. Let's go over a few of the supplies that you may need to complete this project. Your printed design. You're going to need some ribbon. This one right here is 3 inches wide. That's what you want to look for. Now I buy this one right here from Amazon, and I'll have it linked below because this thing is like 50 yards. So you are going to be able to make a lot of bows with this. You're going to want to cut these down. They'll be 3 inches by 30 inches long. Now there's 2 different effects that you can get when making these cheer bows. So you can just leave the gross grain like this. I'm probably saying that wrong. Gross grain, gross grain. So you guys can leave it like this, or you can use glitter HTV and give it some sparkle like so. So if you want them like this, you're just going to use the ribbon. And if you want that glitter, you're going to use some glitter HTV. So what you want to do is cut this down to 14 inches. And then what I like to do is take a cutting mat, which I'm going to show you guys in just a minute. I use a cutting ruler and a knife blade to cut these down to size. You're going to need some hair ties, some mini zip ties, scissors, a lighter, the stiffen spray. You may want to get some double-sided adhesive or glue dots to help you along the way. And then optional, you may want to get one of these cheer bow templates. This one right here is by the Cheer Bow Supply Company. Now I have not used it before. I decided to go ahead and purchase this for the video just to see if it would help a little bit easier. Now, if you've been making cheer bows for a long time, you probably would not need something like this. But I believe these are like $20, maybe a little bit over $20. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it. Like I said, it'll be linked below. I was able to get it on Amazon. And I love supporting small businesses, and so if this is something that's going to help me out, so be it. So with this little mat, it's really neat because it has all of the directions all over it, and they put it almost like on this mouse pad. So when you're working on this, it's going to stay completely still. It's going to give you all of these measurements, like I said, all the information. Anything in these areas is what's going to be on the front of the bow where you can put your mascots. It's going to help you design out where you need your layout to be for your cheer bow. You guys can see whenever we fold this, we'll be able to get it right on here like this, get it right back there, and do our folding like so. See what I mean? Just kind of makes it a little bit simpler. First things first, let's go ahead and cut down our glitter HTV. So what I like to do, because depending on what kind of cutting mat you're using, but I like to use these ones right here that kind of swivel. What I do is I'm going to fold this in half, and you can pull this off if you want to. If you feel like that's going to make it easier, you can definitely do that. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make sure, and you can put crease marks in it, I'm going to make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to line this up just like so, double check my lines. And then I'm going to take my knife blade here and go ahead and trim this down. All right, just like so. So the way that I've designed using it this way, because I cut it down 14 inches, is because I'm doing it in two separate pieces like this, right? Now, if you were going to do it in one complete strip, so maybe you're using your bypass tray and you're doing this in one long strip, you're going to want to cut this 30 inches. So for me, I'm going to have two 14-inch strips because I like to leave 2 inches behind. So like this right here, hopefully you guys can see. It doesn't have glitter because it makes it easier to fold in the back. So let me show you another one so you guys can see here. So I've went from the glitter here where what you're going to see. That way it's a little bit easier to work with right here in the back. So like I said, these are 14 inches. So maybe you want it to go all the way and you want to do 215 or you want to do a 30 inch. But mine are 3 by 14. So we're going to go ahead and cut another one. So now I have both my strips. So the next thing that I want to do is go over to my heat press. I'm just going to put these down on each side, one at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and press these. All right, so I've got my Teflon sheet, and then I'm going to go ahead, I've got my ribbon on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and line up my glitter HTV. Now once I have that down, you may want to take some heat tape just to get it to hold there. I'm going to go ahead and press. Now you only need to do like a tack down, so maybe 5 to 8 seconds. You definitely don't want to overheat. So I just have it at the sublimation 400 degrees, but we're just tacking it down because you're going to sublimate this here in a minute for 60 seconds. So now what we're going to do is flip it over, and I'm going to get the other side. All right, so now we're going to take it back to the table. So now we have this pressed on both sides. Like I said, we just did a tack down. I let it cool down a little bit, and now we're going to pull the top right off. So now you guys can see that I didn't do the center because it's just going to help us, give us a little bit more flexibility in the back. And as you guys can see, you're starting to see that little design there. So now we're ready to go. We've already got our design printed out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this ready to be pressed. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out where these are going to be, and I'm going to trim off the excess. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to line these up. So I'm just going to take each side, and I'm going to center these up. So now we're going to go over to the heat press and press these one at a time. So I've already got a piece of parchment paper down, and I'm going to go ahead and just get this on here just like so. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and apply a piece of parchment paper on the top, and we are going to press it for 60 seconds. All right, we're going to pop it open, pull this off. All right, and we are ready to pull this away. So you can see how pretty that is. Colors came out very nice. All right, so now we're going to get the other side. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a new piece of butcher paper, put it on the press, cover it up, and press it again for 60 seconds. Pop it open. So now you can see both sides. Now this side is meant to be lighter in case you guys are wondering because I was doing that ombre effect so you guys can see that there just a little bit. And that center mark. And get it right up there, and we're just going to fold these right across. Now this one actually goes behind, and then you guys can get that crease mark going on there. All right, so now that we've got it on here looking good, I'm going to go ahead and take some glue dots here just to try to get this to kind of hold down a little bit so whenever I'm going to move it. So I'm just running this across just like so, just to kind of help me hold it whenever I go to lift this up. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to tuck this back behind, and it really helps, like I said, it makes it more pliable. So we're just going to tuck that back behind. And then at this point, you're just going to be folding it. So I'm not a pro with this part. Go ahead and start folding this, kind of like an accordion style. Getting that fold there. All right. Now, once you have that, it's going to look something about like this. You want to go ahead and take that zip tie and get it wrapped around. Just like this. All right. And then we're going to take that hair dilly here and pop it in. All right, at this point, we can go ahead and fluff it out and get it exactly the way we want it. Now, once again, I said my folding here is not 100%. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this and get my ends. Just like that. Now, I would go ahead and play with it, and I would probably go ahead and bring this down just a little bit. Once again, over there in the software, you guys are going to get this down 100%. To where you guys can save it and use these templates over and over and over again. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are interested in me making project cards, which will be templates that have stuff like this. They'll be ready to just put the mascot and all of that stuff, and you can just come in and change the font. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in, and we will definitely get that over on Creative Studio. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.